All right, sorry about that, folks. If you actually, you know what, we should probably address it. For anyone that hasn't couldn't tell, we totally redid our podcasting room. We brought in a brand new table and we reset everything up. So we didn't have audio there for a second because I forgot to check one thing out of all of this. We got it up and running, but no. Actually, I want to give a big thanks to Stephen Walker. He's the guy that owns Walker Metalsmith Jewelry in Andover. I posted a thing on Facebook looking for a table. Within an hour, he got back to me and was very gracious. Gave me this awesome table, completely free. And I guess it was his grandparent, or it was his parents. It was built in almost 100 years ago. I think this table's almost 100 years old, actually. So thank you. Give a little plug to Walker Metalsmith Jewelers. Have you ever been there?
I have, yeah. I've purchased a few things from there, actually.
Yeah, same here. Couple, like a ring for a girlfriend.
Yep.
For Christmas or whatever. And
necklace.
They have some nice stuff in there. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Celtic jewelry is not really my thing, but they have stuff other than Celtic designs in there and all sorts of stuff. Just, it's a great place to go if you're shopping for Christmas. You know what I mean? Because there's all sorts of just nice quality stuff in there,
Yeah, and a good portion of it is handmade by Mr. Walker himself, and he does a fantastic job right there.
Yeah, right there on the spot. Like right there in the building, I should say. But yeah, I guess, so we didn't have audio for the first couple minutes there, so I'll just go back and say it. It's just me and Tim tonight. We really wanted to do a podcast, and everyone else was busy. Me and Tim weren't, so we just said, fuck it. We're going to go into this. I think we want to talk about some movies that are coming up, talk about some video games that we've been playing, and and just basically get away from the political discussion.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say it again, but leading up to the election, going through the election, and then, talking about the surprise results after the election, it's just something that I guess you kind of have to talk about on a podcast that just talks about random bullshit. But I am just completely sick of talking about politics. I don't want to do it anymore. What's done is done. That being said, I am only waiting until Trump does something. Yeah. And we have to talk about it. But
and it is inevitable, so
yeah,
it's going to happen. But we have lots on the docket as far as entertainment, upcoming movies. We're gonna chat some video games. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Actually, why don't we get into the movie stuff right away? Because I'm really looking forward to, this is going to be a great next couple months for movies. Starting off, what do you think? What movie here do you think we should start off on?
I mean, we could start anywhere, but this time of year is going to be my favorite time of the year for several years upcoming because there's going to be a new Star Wars movie every single year.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. From now on to at least the next 4 years, so it's gonna be amazing. And it's gonna be December almost every time. I believe they just moved back Episode 8 till next December, so they're gonna try to keep the same flow on the release of the movies because there's the Han Solo movie coming out. There's Rogue One this December. Obviously, next December is Episode 8. Then I believe the Han Solo movie is coming after that.
I don't know anything about the Han Solo movie.
Oh, it's gonna be a movie based on a young Han Solo and how he got into the smuggler trade and
oh my God.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's so amazing that Disney got their hands on the Star Wars just franchise because I was a little nervous at first. I mean, I guess I was and I wasn't because Disney has tons of money and
oh yeah,
they want to do it right. But after seeing The Force Awakens, I mean, was it a rehash of the original Star Wars? Absolutely. Did I care? Fuck no. Because it was a fucking awesome movie.
South Park's bashing it right now too. I don't know if you're up to date.
I am. Yeah, I don't get it. They did that whole episode where they're just basically shitting on J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I mean, I get it. I get it because I have my issues with The Force Awakens too, but it just finally felt like a Star Wars movie, and as long as they can build on that and get away from the original story and tell their own story, I think it's going to be a great trilogy. It's
this is actually you telling me it was the first time that I knew about this Han Solo movie. I think it's I can just imagine it now just like exploring the smuggler side of the Star Wars universe, and because that was like what we liked about Han Solo is like him and Chewie and like that, just that crazy like anything can happen attitude, and like when like the classic cantina scene, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like if they could take that classic, like what made that cantina scene like an instant classic, and just make that into a movie.
Yeah, they just walk up on Han and he's all lean back, all fucking cool and just chilling. Early reports had a Carl from The Walking Dead as a possibility playing the young Han Solo.
No shit. You know, that might be a good idea because like I'm pretty impressed with him as an actor in that show.
Yeah, and he grew substantially because he was annoying as fuck for like the first 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, you can watch his progression as an actor through those first seasons, and then now the character that he has to play, just fucking complete badass, dead inside, still a child almost. You know what I mean? Yeah, he could probably do a pretty good job. I seen that they're bringing back what is his name? Donald Glover for Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna fucking nail that spot because that's the thing about people that are that are kind of typecast as like a funny guy. When they go into a serious role, it like normally that goes really well. Like, Like think about Robin Williams. When Robin Williams started off his career as being a comedic sitcom actor. Obviously, his stand-up's fucking renowned.
Oh yeah.
But when he plays a serious role, he did play it fucking awesome.
Well, I mean, there were so many different that guy was deep. You know what I mean? Like he was just a deep person, and he had the ability to play any role that he could be given. I mean, he was introspective. He was just a deep person.
Absolutely. Did you ever see that movie 1 Hour Photo with him?
Yes.
Yeah, he played a creepy, I think like a killer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie in like a decade, but I can still remember how fucking like watching that movie and just like, holy shit, Robin, like back it off a little bit. You're creeping me out here, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess with back to Star Wars, the new Rogue One episode comes out, when does it actually start?
December 16th, I believe, is when it opens.
December 16th. And, of course, I think we're all setting up a thing that we're all going to go together and
yeah.
Which I'm really looking forward to that. Are you down with seeing it in IMAX? Or you?
Oh, yeah. I'll see it in IMAX easy. I saw Force Awakens in IMAX 3D, and I'd never seen a movie in IMAX or 3D, so it was like two brand new experiences for me.
You know, the first movie I seen in 3D was Avatar, and it was fucking awesome.
Dude, they're supposed to be coming out with another Avatar.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's supposed to be a trilogy as well. Yeah, I think that's it's also supposed to be a trilogy, which is awesome. I mean, James Cameron always knocks it out of the fucking park.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I mean that should be really exciting. I really enjoyed the movie. Despite the weird, awkward Avatar sex scenes and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
But it was so amazing looking that you didn't even care. You know what I mean?
Did you ever see the Avatar sex toys that came out afterwards?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so if you go to the Fleshlight webpage, they have a for her and for him side. If you go to the for her, they have these really crazy looking dildos. And one of them is an Avatar dildo.
God.
And it has like little eggs inside of it, and you can implant eggs if you wanted to. The eggs come out the end of it like
no.
Yeah, they're like this big, roughly like.
Are they connected like beads?
No, they're just individual eggs. You haven't seen that?
No.
God, I wish I could pull it up, but I'm not going to. But
how are you so well versed in sexual devices?
If someone tells you that there's an Avatar dildo out there, you're telling me that you're not immediately going to look that up.
No, I'm probably going to go home and check it out.
As soon as I heard that, I think it was from another. I heard it on Rogan's podcast, and I'm like, "Whoa, stop the fucking phone here!" And I had to look it up, and sure enough, dude, I mean, it exists. People out there are into Avatar porn. I guess that's totally.
Dude, there's freaks of all kinds, and God bless them.
God bless them. But yeah. Fucking side tangent there, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Rogue One. Actually, I haven't seen the final trailer. We have it set up right here. We're gonna watch it we're going to try something a little bit different on this podcast, which is basically just we have YouTube pulled up here and we want to watch the trailer, but because we don't want our episode pulled off of YouTube, we actually can't show it on the video. So you're going to have to bear with us as we watch this video.
Is this the final international?
It is, yeah. You've seen the other ones, though, right?
Yeah, I've seen the final U.S. one. I believe, and the movie comes out 2 days earlier in like France and Italy and stuff too, which I thought was weird.
That is weird. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. In the UK is 1 day before us.
All right, let's check this shit out.
I love these new Star Wars trailers too, the way they start.
Oh god, it looks so fucking good already.
I understand.
She looks so much like fucking Leia, dude.
She does a little bit.
Like a young Leia.
Our rebellion is all that remains to push back the Empire.
I think you might be able to help us.
When was the last time you were in contact with your father?
Oh, I love that guy as an actor too. The guy was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It appears he is critical to the development of a super weapon.
If my father built this thing, we need to find him.
All right. How many do we need?
They are requesting a call sign.
It's Rogue. Rogue One.
The power that we are dealing with here is immeasurable.
If the Empire has this kind of power, what chance do we have?
We have hope. Rebellions are built on hope.
This looks so fucking good, dude.
I don't know how I feel about Forrest Whitaker being in it.
I bet he'll be pretty good. He's always been a good actor.
That's true.
This moment, the force is strong.
Dude, this shit looks fucking incredible. Holy fuck.
We'll take the next chance. And the next.
Old school X-Wings again.
I like how those the drones look like old school drones. Too.
Yeah. Tell me your hair didn't stand on end a little bit
dude.
when you saw Vader.
I mean, he's only in there for a second. Oh wait, there's. Oh, this is just extra shit. Yeah, I'm looking. The one thing that I'm kind of not nervous about, but interested to see is like if they fuck up Vader in Rogue One, then they've fucked up the whole movie.
Oh yeah,
You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
Because like that's the one character that they're probably bringing back over any of the other characters. Do you think they'll like that one the one Federation guy or what's
Imperial.
Imperial guy kind of looked like the Tarkin?
Yeah, he might maybe he is a young Tarkin. It's really cool the whole story because from what I understand, she is the daughter of the guy who the Empire took and forced to design the Death Star, the first Death Star. So, you know, it's really cool that she gets to be a part of the revolution and you know try to stop the first Death Star.
Right.
It's gonna be nice too to see like Vader when he's really at his like most brutal, like the years in between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Vader was doing some fucked up shit. You gotta, you just have to know that.
I didn't even think about that.
He just lost Padme. Obi-Wan Kenobi just fucked his shit up, and then he's just completely consumed by the dark side of the Force, and he's just fucking shit up.
What where is this in respect to the original movie? Like 20 years before it?
I don't think so. I think it's very close because they blow up the first Death Star in A New Hope. So.
Wow, it's almost completely constructed.
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
So this would be something like that. I mean, you got to figure that's like a couple years. So maybe probably 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they say it somewhere. I'm not keen to that fact, I guess.
I wonder if they're gonna do like any reference to, because I mean, there's nothing that's really I wonder how deep they're gonna get into the Jedi aspect of the Star Wars universe.
I don't think so, because at that point in time, everybody thinks that the Jedi are long gone. Like the Empire wiped them out. People don't even understand what Vader is, and they definitely don't know the Emperor is a Sith Lord. They just think he is the Emperor.
Huh.
So when Vader shows up and just does things that people can't explain, and then just fucking kills them, they're like,
Right.
And he ignites his lightsaber. They're like, holy shit, who the fuck is this guy?
Right. He's just kind of this behind the scenes figure almost.
I mean, and he's just like he's just he just seems so massive to them. You know what I mean? Because he can do things they can't explain. He's just so intimidating in his presence.
Right.
The respirator on his fucking suit making that constant breathing noise.
Right.
Oh man, can you?
Dude, I'm so looking
So
forward to this
oppressive.
fucking movie now. It's one thing that's going to be really fucking awesome to do in like 5 or 6 or 7 years is because they'll have added on so much to this Star Wars universe. Someone out there is going to make a complete from beginning to end like watching those movies from the because like the prequels were before the original Star Wars, and then Rogue One's going to be in between those.
Yeah, in between, yeah.
And then you have the Force Awakens trilogy that's going to be after the original Star Wars. So
and then you're gonna have the Han Solo movie that's kind of in the same area, maybe more towards the the end of the Clone Wars. He might have been obviously he probably would have been a baby around the time that the Empire was formed. So he's post Republic, new Empire, growing up in that war, in that galaxy, I guess I should say.
God damn, dude, I'm so fucking excited for Rogue One now after watching that trailer.
I mean, it's just like George Lucas was just such a fucking dick tease for so long.
Yeah.
And then he puts out these prequels that are just like so childish in nature that it was hard for a true original trilogy Star Wars fan to get behind those movies. I'm sure you learn more about the Jedi. You learn more about Emperor Palpatine and that whole thing, but there's still like a whole side of that story even that they could build on, like who Darth Plagueis.
The original, right?
I mean Darth, who was Sidious's master before he killed him.
Right.
So I mean they could do an offshoot movie of that, and then there's the entire Old Republic storyline that's covered by games and stuff that they could just keep making movies and billions of dollars.
Now, you said you've been reading some of the fan fiction or some of the actual fiction?
It's considered new canon, which means it's like official Disney okayed. That's what happened. I just finished. It's called Dark Disciple. It's about the council during the Clone Wars doing something they had never done before, which was okay an assassination, because as far as the Jedi were concerned, you arrested somebody and then, they faced for their crimes. You didn't kill people to kill them. You killed them if you had to.
Right.
So, which was, it was like something that the council had never done. So they tagged this Jedi Master who spent most of his time working undercover missions anyways. His name was Quinlan Vos. He was in I think only one episode of the Clone Wars series on, the animated series.
Yeah.
That was on Cartoon Network and then Netflix after that.
Yep. And I actually really like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it greatly. Other than the episodes that Jar Jar Binks was in, because I cannot fucking stand Jar Jar Binks.
The secret Sith Lord, Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, the secret Sith Lord. So what they suggested to him was that he team up with Asajj Ventress, who was Count Dooku's apprentice assassin.
Yep.
Which, they had to get too far in the story, they had a falling out and she tried to kill him multiple times, blah, blah, blah. But what happens is, I don't want to ruin, people aren't going to read the book anyway.
Yeah, fuck it. Just say, hey, spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Quinlan Vos falls to the dark side as Dooku's apprentice. Eventually, there's like a showdown between Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Asajj Ventress, Quinlan Vos, and Darth Tyrannus or Count Dooku. They were his two names.
That was one person in the prequel series that I never really understood his role, like how he, like they didn't really explain his background.
No, well he was a fallen Jedi. He was a part of the Jedi Order, but as far as they knew, his fallout was completely political. They didn't know that he had fallen to the dark side until later on.
And was he Sidious's?
Yeah, he was his apprentice. He went by two names. He went by Count Dooku, and then Sidious called him Darth Tyrannus.
Okay, and then he basically sent Anakin to go kill him because he's like,
Yeah, like when I believe it's the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, where they go and try to rescue Palpatine from General Grievous's ship.
Yep.
And then Anakin beats him, and then Emperor or Palpatine talked him into killing him right there, and he knows that he shouldn't because it's not the Jedi way and whatever.
Right.
Yeah, whiny boy, fucking Anakin Skywalker in those movies.
Oh god, dude. I mean, George Lucas, I'll give him credit for what he did before that, but god, like the one person that they needed to make that movie, those prequel trilogy, the prequel trilogy great. Like if Anakin Skywalker would have been a more aggressive Anakin instead of this
just a
whiny
a
little
terrible, especially coming from this guy who's supposed to be the most powerful Jedi of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
The way everybody talks about him, but then you see him in that movies, and he's just a whiny little bitch.
Yep.
Like, how was he supposed to be this great
I
Jedi? I mean, sure, he's powerful. Sure, he's a great, swordsman or whatever, but he was just such a whiny little bitch.
Well, like I felt like they were building it up too much, like because like the whole thing is like he fell in love with Padme, and like that, that love just, that destroyed him from the inside out. But they didn't have to make that, that aspect of why he became evil so apparent throughout through two of those movies.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even just that. They could have done that storyline differently with a better actor, I think, and pulled it off better because, and there's that line where he travels with Padme to Naboo, and he says the cheesiest lines ever, like, I hate sand, it's coarse, it gets everywhere. It's just so fucking corny.
Yeah. Yeah,
and then when he kills the fucking sand raiders there, and like he goes back in the shop there, and she confronts him, and he's like screaming and hollering.
But it's not like really like yelling. It's like that. It's like that halfway between like whining and screaming.
Yeah,
It's definitely it's not what you would have expected for the most powerful Jedi ever to exist. That is, he has to be cocky in his abilities, but not like.
Yeah, I mean, you could have portrayed somebody who was clearly walking that line between the light and the dark.
Yep.
And dealing, obviously dealing with the mental struggles that he did, losing his mother, and being so terrified to lose Padme without turning him into a little emo.
Wait, is it
whiny...
Padme or Padme?
Padme.
You keep saying Padme.
Padme. Same thing.
Yeah.
Basically. They could have done, like, a better actor could have portrayed that role a little better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will say though that Padme, who is played by brain fart, who played Padme? Natalie Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman.
She did a fucking awesome job.
Yeah, she was good.
I really liked her role. Natalie Portman's always been a fucking good actor. Do you remember that movie that she was in, Leon the Professional?
Yes, yeah, where he teaches her to be an assassin.
An assassin, yeah. Dude, that movie is probably one of my top, 15 favorite movies.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it like so many times, but goddamn.
You know who introduced me to that movie was Moyer. Like,
oh, is that right?
Probably my senior year of high school.
Yeah,
he showed me that movie and we watched it, and I was like, holy shit, this is a great movie.
Oh, dude, it's a fucking badass movie.
So
movie.
good.
But yeah, I'm really excited for Star Wars Rogue One. I mean, it's less than a month away now, right?
What's today? Today's the 11th, so it's a little over a month.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be fucking sweet. And then
Another movie that we should talk about, Fantastic Beasts now, which I'm not totally familiar with, but it's from the same creator of Harry Potter, and it's supposed to be in that same world, I believe.
Yeah, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
I read all the original Harry Potter movies,
books.
Harry Potter books. Like, I think I've read every single book. I don't know, 3 times at least per book. And it's just like I wasn't a big fan of the movies. I didn't even watch the last 2 movies. Wasn't a big fan of the movies. I think all the actors were fit for the movies, though. It's just I didn't really like.
Do you think that they, a lot of times what happens when you convert a book to a movie is you lose a lot of substance? Is that kind of like?
Yeah, I mean, when you're reading the original books, the main storyline is neat, but the offshoots that fill in the universe is really what you dig into. Like, same with you in the Star Wars universe. It's like the details about every little thing that really make it neat. And as you're reading this book or these books, and you get to know
there's a lot of character interaction stuff that's lost. I think that that
exactly.
really builds to the story, I think, too.
Well, the cool thing about the books too is and I tell this to anyone that scoffs at the fact that. Like when I say, I read the Harry Potter books. The first 2 Harry Potter, and Tim, you remember?
I've scoffed.
Remember in high school when I got shit on?
Yeah.
I didn't give a fuck, dude. I was completely immersed. But the first 2 books are sort of meant for like a teenager, I guess, or maybe even younger than that. Definitely not less than 11 or 12 though. But starting at the 3rd book, and then especially the 4th book, moving onward, those books are meant for adults, like young adults or adults in general, because those books are like this fucking thick each, dude.
Well, I mean, you could have grown up on those stories too. Like, you could have started reading the first book at that age, and by the time you got through the whole series, you'd be the same age as Harry Potter in the books. And I think she wrote, to that point, I think, maybe.
Yeah. No, I can still remember. I was I don't know, I want to say 15 or 16, and my mom, she's always giving me books that I never read, but she ordered these 2 books off Amazon, and I remember they were still in the box, and she's like, hey, I got these books for you. I ordered them. You should really enjoy them, and it's like the one time that I actually said, you know what, I'll try it. You know what I mean? Because the cover was interesting. And I can still remember I was in my room. I remember when I had that couch in my room and the TV in front of me. I was sitting right there. I think I got lit, and then I just started reading it.
Yeah.
And fuck, man, I couldn't put it down. And I went through that book. I read the second one, and then the third one hadn't been released yet, so I had to wait just a couple months. And then the third one got released, and I was just read that one right through. And then after that, I was reading those books the first day they came out. As soon as they were in stores, I would go get it, and then I can still remember flying to Colorado one summer and just reading the 4th book on that, like on the plane, and I could not look up. Like, I was just so engrossed in that book.
That's got to make travel so much better.
Oh, dude, because getting that deep into a book is already awesome.
Yeah.
But getting that deep into a book when you have to sit on a fucking plane for 6 hours.
Yep.
Yeah. Or else being between airports and plane changes and all that, 8 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Actually, I can remember when I was in not basic training, but when I was in tech school in Altus, Oklahoma. I woke up the day the very last book came out, which I guess that would have been in August of 2007, roughly. And I was one of the first people in line at the local bookstore in town, just bright and early in the morning. And I grabbed that book, and I was one of the first people to buy it. I rushed right back to my dorm room on base, and I read that book nearly cover to cover. I think I might have gotten a few hours of sleep, and then I woke up. As soon as I fell asleep, and then as soon as I was like, oh, I'm awake. It wasn't like I'm awake, get around, get some food. It's like I'm awake, get right back into it. I just because that was the final book to wrap it up. But yeah, I mean the books are really great. I didn't watch, the movies barely. I watched the first couple, and then the other ones I kind of, if they were on like TV, I check them out, and then I haven't watched the last like two, and I probably won't. If they're on TV, I'll catch them. But
What do you think about the casting? Did you watch the first movie at least?
I thought the casting was good. I mean, definitely the people that needed to be casted well, which was, of course, Harry, Ron, and then Hermione. But also the other characters like Albus Dumbledore, and then Hagrid and Professor McGonagall. Like those characters, they casted all those characters perfect. Exactly how I imagined them in the book. So I mean, the casting was great. It was just those books are so big. Like the first couple movies were good because the books are only like an inch thick, but those other ones are like 3 inches thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of book to get through I think 2.5 hour long movie.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing trilogies of the book; they're doing a single book for a single movie. And I think the last book they did, they put it in 2 parts. Is that right?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know either because I didn't watch them. But
yeah, they did because
Yeah.
I remember part 1 and then part 2. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this movie coming out, I don't know. Do you know when it's coming out?
Soon.
Yeah, pretty soon. But so Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So in the books, that was what it was it was a textbook that you needed for one of the classes there, specifically for Hagrid's class. Actually.
Okay.
And there was a famous character in that book, which is the main character in this movie. And that character is, you hear about him here and there throughout the series. The book is mentioned fairly often because it's referenced, throughout the series. And then after the Harry Potter series came out, they came out with this book. It was like it was just kind of, I think it wasn't quite, like it wasn't a story. It was the actual like text.
Oh, it
so,
was
like,
it was the textbook. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't read it. I think I flipped through it at the bookstore, but yeah, I guess they must have made a movie about it. You want to watch the
let's check it out and then we'll give our thoughts on it.
I haven't seen the trailer yet at all, so I'm fresh on it.
You know, for 24 hours, that an unregistered wizard set magical beasts loose in New York. Yes. Where is this man?
So, you're the guy with the case full of monsters, huh?
Use Charles first.
Mrs. Spandler, do you know anything about the wizarding community in America? We don't like things.
Oh, that's cool. They're getting into the wizarding community of America.
You wiped his memory, right? Then no magic.
What?
No magic. They're not a wizard.
Sorry, we call them muggles.
I really like the actor that's playing the main character too.
I don't think I'm dreaming.
Okay, Roy.
I ain't got the brains to make this up.
Something is stalking our city, wreaking destruction, and then disappearing without a trace. Witches live among us.
We've lived in the shadows for too long. Last one.
Colin Farrell. I haven't seen him in a movie in a while.
I fucking hate Colin Farrell.
Danger. He says there's danger.
This is related to Grindelwald's attacks in Europe. This could mean war.
We got a plan, right, guys? We need our help.
Was that everything that came out of the case?
Oh, let another one die. I refuse to bow down any longer.
That's pretty cool. It looks like this is like a full-on story, of course.
Time is running out, Mr. Scamander.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's it looks like, the one thing about this trailer, or it looks like this movie is going to be, is it's going to be a little bit darker take on the Harry Potter series. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be it looks like, I think it's meant for adults versus sort of keeping it geared towards, the child market of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people that were kids when the original movies came out are adults now, which it makes sense why they
Yeah.
have to skew towards that demographic. But
It's kind of cool that they're going back to, something that was mentioned, in the story originally, like just this textbook that these people wrote after this experience, and
yeah,
as far as learning the mastering of wizardry or whatever.
right. No, it's neat too, because like they said, they explore the the American side of the wizarding community, and I don't know, that's just something that you don't really hear about at all in the original books, But the actor that plays the main character, I don't know what the main character's name is, but he played in that movie. Who is it? It's about the forming of the CIA. It has Matt Damon and Robert De Niro in it.
Oh God, I'm not sure if I even know.
Have you seen it?
I'm not sure if I know which movie you're talking about.
Shit, he played in that movie. He was pretty good in that. But yeah, I mean, that looks like a fun movie. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's something that I would personally go to the theaters to watch, but I'll definitely, it's definitely something I will.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know if I'd go like for Rogue One. I'm planning to go to a fucking IMAX for that motherfucker. But for this, if it's, I mean, it'll be in like one of our local theaters. Like the nearest IMAX to us is like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, if it's like a local, like a weekend day that I'm not doing anything on, local theater, it's in there, I might go see it. But.
Yeah. But it looks good. What was that first movie you were talking about when I got here that you said is out already?
Oh, the Arrival. See, that's what I'm really, really like. My favorite genre is sci-fi, without a doubt. I'm a big sci-fi fan.
Clearly, most of the people that are on this podcast from time to time are into sci-fi. That's kind of our thing. Except, I mean, Corey did say that she was into like Star Trek and stuff. So
yeah. So, I mean, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. The Arrival, I've seen one trailer. I haven't seen the final trailer, but it looks fucking fantastic from the very first trailer that I saw. It looks like a very like the one thing about it that like sci-fi movies kind of went off track in the early 2000s, and now they're kind of coming back with like I've seen some really good sci-fi flicks, some really good indie sci-fi flicks. Like there's one on Netflix called Europa, and it's an independent film, I'm pretty sure, and it's about a crew that goes to is on their way to one of the moons of Jupiter. Like one of the moons of Jupiter is called Europa, or that might be one of the moons of Saturn, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the moons of Jupiter, where where there's ice on the surface, and there's projected to be liquid water underneath that ice. In real life,
right?
So I think Europa and Titan are one of the places in our local solar system that are expected to potentially harbor life, like right now. And by life, I mean like bacterial,
right,
amoeba.
Beginning,
yeah. But what that movie was about, it's called Europa Report, and I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix right now. But it's about a crew that's going out to this moon. They get there and they check out what they assume to be is like a heat signature from life form, and then I'll stop there because I won't spoil it. But it's a really good it's a really good small flick. There's been a couple other really good sci-fi flicks that have just come out lately, and this looks like it's going to be a pretty good one.
I don't know anything about it, so this will be my first experience with Arrival.
Awesome. Pull it up.
There are days that define your story beyond your life.
Oh, I like her as an actress.
They arrived.
Yeah, she's really good.
What might be called first contact. The objects measure
I'm Colonel G.T. Weber from...
So it's about first contact with an alien race.
You're at the top of everyone's list when it comes to translations.
she plays like a top linguist, language analyst, I think.
That's what they call it, the UFO.
Doesn't that look fucking awesome, dude?
Yeah.
Massive fucking object just floating there.
Yeah, it just looks like a gigantic egg.
Yeah.
We'll see soon enough. Every 18 hours, the door opens up. That's where we go in.
Oh, they're gonna go inside the fucking thing.
I guess what it is like these objects have just suddenly appeared.
Oh, okay.
Like District 9 sort of deal.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, that just happened.
Was that Forrest Whitaker?
I don't know.
Now that's a proper introduction.
More objects have landed around the world.
This is one of 12. I'm never going to be able to speak their words.
You got 2 days. Figure something out.
I am human. It's their language. We need to make sure that they understand the difference between a weapon and a tool. Language is messy, and sometimes one can be both.
Are you dreaming in their language? It's possible. They're probably mystified among themselves.
This is just a way to force us to work together for once.
It's more complicated than that.
How is it more complicated?
Russia just executed one of their own to keep their secrets.
You got 21 hours.
Before they start a little more.
So how do we clarify their intentions?
I go back in.
Oh god, I can't wait to fucking see this, dude.
How does this feel worse?
That one guy's in Boardwalk on HBO. He does a really good job.
Is that right? See, I think it's like a classic, which pisses me off almost, but a classic sci-fi scenario where like humans don't know if they should attack or not.
Yeah.
Or, like use the nuclear option or whatever. Like
Yeah.
that's clearly what's happening. Is like there's what it looks like is that these ships have came to Earth and they're trying to communicate, obviously, with this lady.
It looks like
she's trying to communicate,
a protected way of communication too, because they're not exposing themselves to the humans per se.
Yeah,
because,
there's like a barrier.
Yeah,
but and then of course there's it just looks like there's the military side which wants to use force in some way, and then she's trying to stop it from happening because she's obviously close to actually. But I'm really like it's one of those movies that I'm sure the ending is. It's getting really good reviews already, so you know that the ending has to be fucking good.
Yeah, like it may not turn out to be Independence Day.
No, no, but if it did, that'd be awesome.
And you would have to imagine like it would go down that way. If an alien race were to actually come to Earth, they would already understand that the human species is volatile in nature, and that they don't necessarily always react to things in ways that are.
It's possible. I mean, I've read a lot of like one of the classes I took in college was the science of science fiction, and what that was is we read several sci-fi novels and then a whole bunch of short stories, discussed them, wrote reports, and blah blah blah, discussed the science behind them. But the teacher is a huge like sci-fi geek, and he's actually in the process of writing his own sci-fi novels. Like he's big in this sci-fi literature, but he you really get a sense of like the different scenarios that can happen in like a like interacting with an alien race, because like you see like the scenario that you get on like through movies and TV shows is like a really stereotypical scenario, but like one scenario that was like really cool in one of these books was like there was an alien ship that showed up outside of the Earth just one day, sat there for a long time before humans finally just started said fuck it, cut a hole in the side, went in. It was completely empty. Pushed a button, went off into the middle of nowhere, into a group of other ships.
Fuck.
Those were all empty. And then that was like, like telling the story before. So, but the main part of the story was people, like, they found all these other ships in, like, some sort of hub in the middle of nowhere, is like light years away. And humans, what they do is you sign up as an adventurer, and you go, and there's ships that they haven't turned on yet. And they don't know who made them. They're in the shape of, like, a mushroom. And you get on them, you press a button, it goes to somewhere. You go to that place, you collect whatever you can that's valuable. You press a button, it comes back.
It does go back.
And it comes back to the same spot that it was. And that's all people know. So, like, people, like, what the story was is about this guy who's like, you know, you can make a lot of money, but what if you press that button and never come back? And there's a good percentage of ships that never come back, like, for unknown reasons. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way of communicating once you get out there, because it takes, like, the speed of light, which is a radio transmission, takes, the hundreds of years. You know what I mean? For some places. So, like, basically these, the whole story was, like, people go in the middle of nowhere, collect weird fucking exotic, ore, like metal ores or technology from alien races that are also doing the same thing. Like, is a really cool idea for, for a story that I've never seen anything like that in a movie. So, like, back to the Arrival, it's interesting to think about how they're going to deal with how, the whole stereotypical aliens come to Earth and then humans react to them, because, that's kind of overdone.
It's like, how are you going to do it in a way that is different from the 100 million ways that it's already been done?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But it's getting good reviews. I'm hopeful of it. It's already out now. After seeing that trailer, after seeing all these trailers, that's all I want to do. Yeah. But yeah, I think I might actually go check that out tomorrow. Now that I think about it, I wonder if it's in Wellsville or Hornell.
It's definitely being Olean.
Yeah, that's true. But speaking of sci-fi, we actually have our last clip, our last trailer that we want to watch. This is one that you brought up, right? It's called Passengers.
Yeah, it has Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't know if I've seen this.
Hello. You asking me on a date?
She didn't seem that impressed.
You clean up pretty good yourself.
You two look fine this evening.
We're on a date.
Very nice.
Took you long enough to
I like that guy as an actor. The bartender.
Why did you give up your life on Earth? We boarded the Avalon with a destination. 120 years hibernation means a wake up in a new century on a new planet. But a year ago, everything changed. Hello? Do you know what's going on? Nobody else is awake.
I think something went wrong with the hibernation pods. We woke up too soon. 90 years too soon.
This can't be happening.
Would they say 9 years or 90?
90.
Oh my god, dude.
Something's wrong. Something big.
What do we do now?
Do you trust me?
Looked like they were headed towards a sun or a star.
Yeah.
The ship's gonna go.
This looks good. Looks really good. I love sci-fi fucking movies, dude. Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Yeah. Supposedly Keanu Reeves is too.
There's no reason we woke up early.
Huh. That looks good. It's really good. I really enjoyed that trailer. That dude, the thing about sci-fi movies that I love is I just feel like we're getting a sneak preview of, I mean, realistically travel between solar systems, so interstellar travel. That is, let me just click out of this really quick. That's something that we probably won't see in our day.
Unfortunately.
That's pretty serious, but we will see, I'm sure within our day, we'll see interplanetary travel for sure. They're already talking about like mining asteroids and doing a mission out to Mars. I think Elon Musk is actually big pushing that now with SpaceX. But I love seeing movies like that because it just gives you a glimpse into our future, you know?
And just how unknown it really is.
Well, that's just the thing, like with space, you know, there's like the distances between planets and stars and basically everything in space it's really hard. I think it's for a lot of it's kind of unfathomable for a human mind. Like, you know, it takes 8 minutes for a single phonon of like a single packet of light that escapes the sun to get to Earth. It takes 8 minutes going 8 million meters per second or whatever the speed of light is. I think it's roughly 8 million meters per second. Don't quote me on that, but I mean, you know, the speed of light is so fucking fast.
Yeah.
To take 8 minutes to get from the sun just to Earth, I think it takes a matter of seconds to get from the Earth to the moon. You know, that's really fast. And, you know, the distance from the Earth to Mars or the Earth to fucking Jupiter, I mean, I think it takes 3 years to get from, like, if a ship takes off from Earth right now, like with the drone ships that we send, and goes to Mars, that takes 3 years of travel just from here to our nearest planet.
Yeah.
You know, think about, you know, and then there's, I guess after Mars it would be Jupiter and Saturn and Neptune and so on, but I think the nearest solar system to Earth is Alpha Centauri, and I think that's like 4.2, like 4 light years away.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, there's ideas of how to make that distance shorter. Like, you know, if like there's that new engine, that EM engine that NASA is like, that's so like it's. Like, they've done tests to see if it can work, which is like collapsing space-time in front of it and expanding space-time behind it, which gives it inertia through space-time. But that is like, so it's, you know, they're 100 years away from even starting development on something like that. It's just the theory behind it has been proven.
You think that the human species will ever last long enough to figure out something like warping, like
that's just
creating a warp drive?
There's something called the Fermi paradox, and what the Fermi paradox is that in the amount of time that the universe has existed, which is like 14.8 billion years, I think maybe like 14.8 billion years, the universe has been around since the Big Bang. And in that, I mean, humans have been around in our current form for 2 million years.
Yeah.
And only and have only been dabbling in technology for, if you start, you know, at the pyramids, or if you start at the pyramid level technology, you know, 10,000 years, possibly 20,000 based off, you know, some excavations at Göbekli in Turkey, I should say.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before. I actually really want to dig into that on another podcast. But my point is that really humans have been dabbling in technology for 10,000 years, and only in the past, 50 years have we even had computers. But that amount of time is so small, you can see that in like 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now, it's going to be completely different if we keep going the way we are. In fact, you know, there's people out there that think that the singularity is going to happen in 30 years from now, where humans and computers will become one, because the rate of technology just hits a point where it's inevitable.
Yeah, inevitable.
But the Fermi paradox is like, since the universe has been around for 14.8 billion years, and these planets, I think, like the amount of time for mass to condense, form planets to form stars has been, there's been so much time between the Big Bang and now. Why are we not living in like a Star Wars universe?
Yeah, I mean,
no contact, we haven't even had the slightest indication that life exists outside of Earth other than bacteria on a rock from Mars that may or may not actually have been from Mars. It may have been contaminated.
Could have crashed, yeah.
But I mean, that's just the thing, is like, where are these signals? We've been sending out radio signals into the universe since, for 80 years now, roughly. You know what I mean? We've been sending TV signals out into the universe. We've been sending signals out in the universe for so long that they've left our solar system, but but we're not getting any back, you know what I mean? And there's been enough time that we should be just being bombarded. If every other species, you have to assume that every other species does take the same technological progression as we do, but I mean, it's not too far of a stretch to assume that.
Do you think that maybe we are the first to get to this level? Like, I mean, it's not something that's easy to think about, but
it's hard to say. I mean, how rare is life? I mean, if you believe in evolution, which I do, I think you probably do too.
Yeah.
So you believe that the way life started was near like volcanic vents in the bottom of the ocean in the early Earth, where all these particles come together. The right interaction between two particles created something, and then those created something else, and then so on. But that the odds of that happening are actually really, really rare when you take it into account.
You need the exact perfect conditions for things like that
and
to happen.
That's what causes like a creationist. That's their big thing. Is like they don't like their biggest argument for their faith is that for life to actually exist the way that scientists believe it does, it would be so completely
it's too
unlikely.
Much, it's too much unknown for them.
But the other thing too is you have to take. There's a lot of other things you have to take into consideration. Like if you do add the fact that if you have volcanic vents, the heat, the energy speeds up reaction rates. That's high school chemistry.
Yeah.
When you add the fact that in the early Earth, all these particles that were floating on, I mean, it was a different sea. I mean, there's a different condition in the sea, but it's life can exist elsewhere for sure, and it can also exist in other forms. Like so on Earth, we're a carbon-based life form.
Yeah.
But they've theorized that it's possible for life forms to form around silicon as well. So, I mean, there's different ways for life to exist. It's pretty unlikely that life doesn't exist somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because, there's 100 billion stars in our galaxy. There's 100 billion galaxies in the universe. Mm-hmm. That's an unfathomable number.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just so much area.
So, I definitely don't think that we're the first. I don't think that we're the first species in the universe to achieve technology. What you got to wonder is like going back to the Fermi paradox is there a point in all these, like any species that achieves sentience, any species that develops technology and goes to the same route? What is the point? Like why is there not advanced life forms all over the place? And you have to wonder, is it because they realize that if they take a radioactive element and split it, that can create something very explosive as well as very useful, if they can harness it? So, like the idea is that maybe nuclear war or else nuclear energy just destroys a civilization. There's actually a really interesting idea that maybe the singularity, so all life forms just being put into a computer and then living out an infinite life in a computer.
Yeah.
Or maybe, maybe once we can see it now with virtual reality. Like once VR gets to the point where it's indistinguishable from
in augmented.
Yeah, I mean, like there's have you seen Black Mirror at all?
No.
Okay, there's an episode of Black Mirror that deals with augmented reality and like living in augmented reality versus actual reality, and it makes you fucking think, dude. I think if there was a point where it was like you can either live here, like in regular reality, or else you can live on a fucking paradise island indefinitely through a computer, and you don't know the difference. Like it's you, and then you come back from it, and then it's you. Like so you can come back from the augmented reality and like remember that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's hard to say. Like what you would do in that situation, and if you have a whole species that says, hey, life sucks on our planet right now because we've destroyed it, but we can put everyone into a computer mainframe, put that computer mainframe under, miles underground, so power it with geothermal energy, so it's never gonna die.
Yeah.
Does everyone agree that we should probably do that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
You know what I mean? And like, there goes space exploration. They're not gonna do that anymore.
Do you think that our only chance to achieve the kind of space exploration that we would consider worthy would be the creation of AI? Despite how dangerous that sounds in my own head,
I think it's inevitable. I mean, because we already have like very low level AI right now.
But I'm talking like infinitely learning AI, like just computers that are constantly just doing all the things, just figuring shit out, and just with no end.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing, right? And there's actually like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and a lot of these these people that are involved in technology around the world have actually come together and warned people that like, hey, we need to address AI carefully because these situations like Terminator and all that. I mean, that's an extreme, but it could happen.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't a computer look at the human species and be like, yeah, you guys don't make any sense?
Oh, yeah, I totally agree.
There's no reason for you to exist.
No, it's something that you do have to wonder about. But I don't know. The creation of AI is, without a doubt,
it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's going to happen within, I think AI will probably happen within 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and like by AI, I mean like your phone being cognizant of who you are, and like
a whole other being almost.
Yeah. If phones even exist in 20 years, 20 years is going to be so much different than right now.
Oh yeah. You think your communicator will just be like in your head, and you can just like click something with your teeth in your head, and you're just like communicating with somebody?
I think probably the first step in that, I think, is probably going to be contact lenses. And this, I'm ripping this off of an episode of Black Mirror. I'll totally say that now. But I think one of the first steps is going to be augmented contact lenses. So like you're driving down the highway and like you're seeing.
It'll be like a heads up display.
Yeah.
Like right in your eye. Yeah.
And like I don't think it'll be heads up like where it'll be
exterior, so it can be.
Well, like I don't think it'll be annoying. Like you're constantly seeing shit. I just think like you'll be like walking and like you'll see a sign, and that sign in reality will be completely blank. But because your computer fucking lens knows that you like fucking Cheetos, let's say, it's gonna put a Cheetos.
Oh god, it's gonna be data mined.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fucking Google already does it, like in like Facebook and shit. Like when I see. The ads on the side of my
it's
Facebook.
Everything that you've searched on Google for the last month.
That really freaked me out at first. I could give a fucking shit now, though. You know what I mean? It's one of those things when it first happened, I'm like, fuck, they're really digging into my data. But now it's just like, I don't even give a shit, really.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's going to be interesting, dude. That's one thing about sci-fi is it really does give you a glimpse into the future. And especially like in a time like living right now, for your children, it's going to be 10 times crazier, but the advancement of technology is such that the world 5 years from now is going to be
Yeah.
different, way different from the world now. The world 10 years from now
Way
is going to be
different.
much different. The world 30 years from now is going to be not even comparable. You know what I mean? It's going to be a completely different Earth.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to think, like, you know, technology is moving so fast, like it'll almost make your head spin, but at the same time, it's not moving fast enough for us to see some of the cool shit that we want to see in our lifetime.
I think it's getting there. Like I tell people this, but like the future that was promised to us in the year 2000. Like if you go back to like the 80s, everyone's like, in the year 2000, everyone will be doing this and that.
Yeah.
I think that's just starting to happen. Like look at our phones. Like think about back in 2007, the first iPhone came out, and that was the first like breakaway from fucking flip phones. Or if you had BlackBerry, that was like a little bit different. But the iPhone was the first phone.
Yeah.
That was like what every phone is now.
It's
basically.
what every smartphone is now. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was in 2007. That was less than 10 years ago. The first iPhone was complete garbage compared to the fucking supercomputers we have in our fucking hands right now. You know what I mean? Like that was the one thing is like in 2007 I had a phone and I had a laptop and I had a desktop and I used them all. Like I used my laptop and my desktop more than anything else. I barely use computers now because everything that I need to do is right.
Yeah,
in my
it's right on
fucking
your
hand.
phone. Yeah.
You know, and it is like I use a computer probably 75% less than I did 3 years ago, I want to say. I mean, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's getting less and less, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only reason I use my PC anymore is to play video games because I'm a PC gamer. But you know, if I was a console gamer, I would have no need for it really.
Yeah. I mean, that's so
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a console gamer, so
I could pay my bills on this thing. I could
yeah.
I could buy tickets. I could, you can do anything that you could do on a PC with a much smaller device.
Dude, and I don't know, it's definitely like I think one of the first like real futuristic advances that we're going to see in the next 5 years is going to be self-driving cars.
Yeah.
I mean, and personally, I can't fucking wait if the self-driving technology exists to the point now that I think it's fairly safe. And by the time it gets, I think, within 5 years when it's at a consumer level and everyone's able to, because like imagine that you could live 2 hours away from where you actually work. So you get up in the morning, you have a 2-hour drive to work that you're basically just like, you have a computer, you have your coffee, you have whatever, maybe an hour and a half driving to work, but it would make it's going to make commuting so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
There's going to be, less accidents. It's going to be a much better just quality of life when you're not stressing about fucking driving.
I mean, that's one thing that we don't get out here. Like, if you lived in Los Angeles, like, and you had to get up every morning and get on the 405 or whatever the big highway is out there and drive an hour to work that's fucking 8 miles away, can you imagine your stress level?
Dude, I'd fucking kill myself. When I was living in Pittsburgh the past couple years, the traffic there is without a doubt the worst. I've never drove in Los Angeles, but the traffic in Pittsburgh, fucking crazy, dude. It's the worst traffic that I've ever drove in.
The worst traffic I ever drove in was through Times Square, and that was just fucking unbelievable.
I never drove through New York
Unbelievable, dude. Like, I mean, the cops are waving you to go faster, and everybody's going fucking 90 through Times Square, and it's so fucking stressful, man.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's terrible because there's nothing worse than like when you're in a traffic jam that's, you're going to be going, a couple fucking feet per minute, for at least an hour.
And you have to manually move that couple feet. If you could just, like, even if there was a traffic jam and, like, auto drive, you could still be drinking your coffee and...
I wouldn't give a shit. I'd pull up a fucking movie on
reading a book or watching a movie or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the thing, too. And you know what the worst part about that kind of traffic is when you have a fucking manual vehicle, which I did when I lived there.
Yep.
Moving feet per minute with a fucking manual is the worst experience you'll ever have in your fucking life.
Clutch foot cramped like a motherfucker.
Well, I was living on one side of Pittsburgh, on like right outside of the city on one side, and I was working on the complete opposite side of the city. So the first month that I, commuted like this, I was driving through the city dealing with traffic, but it got to the point where driving completely around the city was the same amount of time, because it was either I drive completely around the city, it was like an hour and a half drive, and I'm constantly driving, or else I'm stopping and going through the city. I mean, I was burning more gas, but I was much happier because I was actually moving, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And, if you listen to podcasts or you listen to... I had Sirius XM, so I was constantly listening to, like, talk radio and shit.
Yeah.
That's what makes a drive better, but...
I think
self-driving cars, dude. I'm looking forward to it.
I think listening to stuff like that instead of, like whether you load up a podcast or listen to talk radio, I think that kind of stuff helps driving stress levels out. Like, I notice that when I'm listening to a podcast and driving, I'm not, I'm thinking about driving, but I'm not thinking about driving. I'm in.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm into the conversation that I'm listening to, or I'm into the, whatever the topic might be that they're talking about.
Yeah.
More so than I am pissed about some other idiot on the road with me.
No, definitely. Actually, it reminds me. Today, me and my girlfriend were coming back from Wellsville, and she put on the radio, and she's like, "You ever just enjoy putting on the radio?" And I'm like, to be honest with you, I haven't listened to music while driving in years. I mean, I've listened to it with other people in the car that have put it on there, but when it's just me. Dude, it's podcast or like I listen to NPR talk radio sort of shit, but it's podcasts like listening to people discuss random bullshit is like.
For me, it's either a podcast or an audiobook.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of audiobooks too. I can't go back to listening to music though. Like, I enjoy listening to music. I pull up Pandora when I'm doing fucking housework or doing stuff on the computer or,
playing Magic.
Exercising. Yeah, playing Magic, pull up some old school 90s hip-hop.
Oh, yeah.
But when I'm doing something where I'm, like even at work, when I'm doing some, like, menial task or I'm driving, which is a menial task, listening to a podcast or listening to an audiobook...
It's a form of stimulation.
Yeah, it's the only way to get through it, really.
Yeah.
And I that's why I love doing podcasts and I love being a part of this because I think it's a serious form of media that's going to be much more popular in the future. Like, podcasting has been around for I think it's been possible for like 8 years maybe.
I've known about it since 2005, but it wasn't like a big thing.
That right?
It wasn't a big thing in 2005. Moyer used to run a community podcast for the game we played at the time.
Is that right?
Yeah, we called it the Unreal Podcast. I was on it one time, and back in 2000, it was probably 2007, 2006. I'd got way too high before I went on the program, and I wasn't able to participate in the conversation as much as I might have liked.
That's funny shit.
But we talked about what was going on in the competitive community at the time, and it was really cool. We had guests from all over the place, and it was cool.
That's neat.
It was my first experience with a podcast.
I mean, like my first experience with a podcast was listening to Rogan, and it's just because like. People like if you listen to Rogan, you're gonna be like you either love it or you hate it. Most people love it, and then as soon as you just want to tell everyone about it. And I started listening to Joe Rogan like when the episodes were. I think I started on in the 80th episode, which is early on. That was like 5 years ago.
He's on like God, I'd have to look, but it's like 600.
Oh
something.
no, I think it's more than that.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's 8 something.
Yeah, it's 8 something. Because I remember there was they had a special episode for 777 a while back, but
he has really fucking cool guys. Like say what you want about Joe Rogan. I know a lot of people don't like him, and a lot of for whatever reason. But he has really awesome guests on a lot of times, like super super smart people with really really good conversation.
Yep.
And it's a very enjoyable podcast, and I listen to it. Almost every single episode.
Yeah. I'm still a big listener. I'm a big listener of the Death Squad podcast. I'm actually really getting into Legion of Skanks. It's my, it's Like I used to be an every episode listener for Rogan. Now I listen to every episode that is someone that I like or someone that I'm probably going to find interesting based off the information.
Yeah.
With Legion of Skanks, I listen to every episode as soon as it is available, or at least the day of. And I savor it. Like I wait. Like I'm like, a new episode's out. I'm gonna wait till I get home so I can listen to it while I play a video game or listen to it while I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like that's when you're serious into a podcast. I used to do that with some Death Squad podcasts. I still do that with Kill Tony. That's a good one.
Yeah, Kill Tony's good. Tony Hinchcliffe is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, dude. I just seen him live a couple of weeks, about a month ago, I want to say. Fucking awesome live, dude. And like the whole show was like he got into some material, but it was mostly crowd work.
Yeah.
And I love crowd work shows because if you see the right comedian do it, that's an experience, onto itself.
You're talking about like a master fucking pick on someone guy too. I mean, he writes for the roast on Comedy Central and stuff.
Dude.
He's just like he's just so quick, and he can just do it on the fly, and he'll just hilariously pick on somebody.
The thing about it too is right after the second debate when Ken Bone was a big deal.
Yeah.
And there was someone right up front that resembled Ken Bone, so he just kept going back to it and making Ken Bone references. But anyway, it's getting to be that time. I think we should probably wrap this one up.
Sounds good.
Yeah. As far as anything to plug, I don't have anything specific to plug, but I will say that I am going to be entering a comedy competition.
Ooh.
It's going to be happening on my birthday, December 3rd, and I need to get people out or in the seats on December 3rd up in Rochester at the German House. I don't want to say too many details right now because I've just committed to it. Tonight.
Can you say the name of the contest?
I don't even know the name of the contest. I was contacted about it. Is
it like the funniest people of Rochester contest or something?
No, it's something that's a little bit smaller. I think it's a smaller contest, and then it goes, and if you win that one, you go to another round.
Okay.
And if you win that one, you go to like this comedy thing in the like the Dominican Republic or some like a vacation spot, which is really cool. And I'm not going to say I'm going to make it that far, but it'd be really cool if I could make it through one round.
That's right.
And it's happening on my birthday, December 3rd, up in Rochester at the German House. Contact me if you want to go. I need to get people in the seats. I want to get
some support.
Yeah, and I think the tickets are $15 or $20.
That's probably so low for the amount of hilarious people that are going to be there.
I hope so. Yeah, like I'm not sure how many people are going to be there yet. I don't know many details, but I got to start plugging it. So contact me on Facebook or contact the Brain Gravy Facebook page if you're interested in going to that. It's in Rochester, December 3rd. It'll be in the evening. Other than that, if you haven't yet, please like our Facebook page. Check out all our old episodes. Consider donating. And I think we'll just wrap it up with that one.
Like our YouTube channel too.
We got a YouTube channel. We're doing our episodes live now. There's all sorts of ways that you can
consume the gravy.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
See ya.